Welcome back. Well, from John Boehner's lawsuit to Hillary Clinton's claims that she was dead broke, you've heard what the pundits have had to say about the week's political headlines. But what do our voters think? Our next guest just found out. Joining me now is a partner of Maslansky and Partners, Lee Carter. She's going to break down what voters think about this. Lee, nice to see you this morning.
Nice to see you,
too. It's been an interesting week in politics. Obviously, we're looking forward to 2016. And you think, it's a summer doldrums. People aren't paying attention. But you found out something completely different, right?
Yeah, I think it's a really, really interesting time right now because we always see that people are skeptical. And it's not necessarily just what people are saying. It's what they're hearing. And that's what we're focusing on. And so what we're seeing right now is that people are really, really skeptical. They're really, really cynical. They're really, really down and out about things. And there's certain things that are happening, especially this week, that have them really upset. All
right, let's talk about this, the John Boehner lawsuit on why he's suing the president. Let's listen to Boehner.
The president's job is to faithfully execute the laws. In my view, the president has not faithfully executed the laws. We have a system of government outlined in our Constitution with the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. Congress has its job to do, and so does the president. And when there's conflicts like this between the legislative branch and the administrative branch, it's, in my view, our responsibility to stand up for this institution in which we serve.
Okay, so you see the dials there on the screen among voters. How did the voters react to that?
Well, you see what you saw is that there's a huge divide in this country. You saw that the Democrats were dialing as far down as they could, and the Republicans, they weren't really dialing that high, but it's a combination of what they're hearing and how they react in their gut, and that's what we saw right there, the big split. But in the conversation afterwards, what we found, what was so alarming, is that both sides of the aisle are so angry at the division between the divisiveness, the anger, right, and the fact that that he's suing Obama made them really upset, so much so that they said this kind of action could impact any Republican candidate running for office in 2016, and they don't think that they'll get in if this is the way that they're going to run politics.
Let's talk about Bill Clinton defending Hillary Clinton's wealth comments this past week. Of course, she took a lot of heat for that. Here's Bill Clinton defending Hillary's gaffe this week. Let's listen to Bill.
I remember when we were in law school, she was out trying to get legal assistance for poor people. I remember she was working on believing in paid leave for pregnant mothers in the 1970s. So I think if you don't give the most in-depth answer to a question because you immediately remember what you felt like the day we left, as opposed to what it looks like to everybody else now who's having trouble, you can say, okay, I got to clean that up, which she did.
Looks like pretty high marks there.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a master communicator. He always has been. What's really interesting about that clip is you'll see that Democrats actually dialed him lower than Republicans. He was able to communicate in a way that resonated with both parties, but even with people who were traditionally not his fan. And I think it was really extraordinary in the way he communicated. It's very folksy. People really relate to him. They think that he's really authentic. And it's in stark contrast to how they feel about his wife. And so I think we're going to talk about Hillary next, and she just doesn't do the same.
Yeah, well, we don't have time to play the soundbite, but of course Hillary Clinton, she came back and actually responded to Bill Clinton's comments about that. And she says, I appreciate it, but I don't need anyone to defend me. But she might actually need someone to defend her. Lee Carter, partner of Maslansky and Partners. Thank you so much for breaking these down for us. I appreciate it.
Thank